When they first assigned me to cell 312, I thought the hardest part would be surviving the guards, the other inmates, the endless hours of monotony. I was wrong. The hardest part was him. I didn't even know his name at first. Just a silhouette across the wall, the faint rasp of a cough at night, the occasional sigh that seemed louder than it had any right to be in this place. He was in the cell next to mine, separated by a wall so thin that every sound traveled like a whisper in my skull. From the first night, I hated him. Maybe it was the arrogance I imagined in his voice when he muttered to no one, or maybe it was how his presence seemed to invade my small, private world without asking permission. I lay on my bunk, staring at the ceiling, listening to the scrape of his boots, the clatter of a tray, the faint hum of whatever contraband contraption he'd rigged to pass the time. I hated it. I hated him. And yet, I couldn't stop noticing. The first letter came about a week in. I thought I'd imagine it at first. An envelope slid under the crack of the wall, paper thin and neatly folded, no markings, no name. I stared at it for a long moment, heart hammering. I wasn't sure if I should throw it away, ignore it, or just read it. But curiosity won. Inside in a shaky scrawl. You snore like an old man. Stop it, or I'll start smuggling earplugs under the door. I laughed quietly. No one had made me laugh here. Not in a week. I shoved it back under the crack without a reply, telling myself I would ignore it. Of course I didn't. The next day, I found another one. You're staring at the wall too much. It's not going to stare back at you, you know. I wanted to curse. I wanted to scream. I wanted to rip the paper into 1,000 pieces. But when I read it, the corners of my mouth betrayed me. I wasn't sure if I was angry at him, or at myself for enjoying the words. By the third letter, I was hooked. He wrote about the mundane, the way the guards messed up the chow line, the cat he used to have before this place, the song he couldn't stop humming. Small things. Tiny, fleeting glimpses of a life beyond these walls. And I found myself writing back, sliding notes under the crack, careful to keep my handwriting messy, trying not to reveal too much. Stop humming. I don't need my nightmare soundtrack. You're going to regret that when I start composing my own symphony. The back and forth became a lifeline. Every day, I counted the hours until the next letter would appear. Every night, I lay on my bunk, imagining the man who wrote them. His voice, his laugh, the way his fingers might brush mine if the wall weren't in the way. Weeks passed. The letters grew bolder. They spoke of dreams, regrets, hopes that no one else knew, vulnerabilities laid bare through thin paper and ink. I hated how much I wanted him. I hated how every word made my chest tighten. I hated the way my stomach did flips when I fell to moving in the cell next door. Then one evening, a letter slid under my door, folded carefully. If I could, I'd reach through this wall and hold you. Would you let me? I nearly dropped it. My fingers shook as I picked it up, heart hammering. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to beg him to reach through. I wanted to ignore the danger, the rules, the consequences. Instead, I wrote back, only if you promise to stop making me feel like this. The next morning, I realized I hadn't stopped thinking about him. Not for a second. By the second month, our letters were no longer safe or casual. They were intimate, confessional. He told me about the fear he felt every night, the loneliness that gnawed at him. I told him about my past, my regrets, my shame. Every word was a brushstroke on a canvas of tension and longing. Every line was a confession we couldn't voice aloud, a caress through the wall. One night, my hand hovered over a letter before I slid it under. I don't know if I'm ready for this, but I think I'm falling for you. The reply came in the quiet of the night. I've been falling since the first week, but falling in here is dangerous. I don't care. Dangerous, forbidden, and yet irresistible. It wasn't long before the wall wasn't enough. The letters had built something unstoppable. We found a way to touch, small brushes of fingers under the door, leaning close to hear each other's whispers in the night. Then came the day Guards distracted, doors locked down elsewhere. I pressed my hand against a crack, and he pressed his to mine. His touch was warm, electric, sending fire up my arm and straight to my chest. I whispered his name before I realized I hadn't even known it. Caden. I breathed. Kai, he answered, voice rough, trembling. I don't remember who moved first. The wall didn't matter anymore. Hands, lips, and bodies collided in the shadows. Years of longing and unspoken words finally unleashed. Every kiss was a promise. Every touch was a confession. Every whispered word was a lifetime of love condensed into the dark. He had snuck me letters, and through those letters, he had snuck me into his heart. And when morning came, the wall was still there, the guards still patrolling, the world still watching, but it didn't matter, because we had each other. And that, even in a place meant to break men, had made me feel alive in a way nothing else ever could. He did time. I served it with my heart. And through the wall, we found love.